In my last episode, I was walking on the streets of Washington, D.C., USA, doing street photography. Today, we're talking safari photography in Africa. I lived in Tanzania for 2 years and I had a wonderful opportunity to go on few safaris from world-famous Serengeti and Ngorongoro Crater to smaller parks like Tarangire and Arusha National Park. Africa is probably the only place on Earth where you can see so much of wildlife in the natural habitat. National parks in Tanzania provide important sanctuary for many animal species. Going on safari is a dream for wildlife photographer. So you decided to travel to Africa. You have made all travel arrangements. You are so excited about this one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let me share with you some important tips how to get ready for safari photography. First and most important is to be safe. When on safari, sitting in the car, you see all these amazing wild animals around you, very close, and they're not afraid of you. You see lions so close you can possibly touch them, and they're not paying any attention to you. They look very sleepy and relaxed, but it's only because you're sitting in the car. If for whatever reason you end up outside the car and they see your two legs, you immediately becoming food. And this lion, which was napping next to a safari vehicle, will be on top of you faster than you can blink. So it is important to be very careful and to follow instructions of your guide. You are in the animal kingdom and you need to play by its rules. What kind of equipment do you need for safari photography? The first thing comes to mind is to have this huge telephoto lenses the size of rocket launcher and the price of compact car. And also good telephoto lens is very useful for taking pictures of animals from far away. Very often animals will be so close that you can take pictures with your phone. Most of the time when you're going on safari, you're not going to walk around and looking for animals. You will be sitting in the special safari vehicles with professional guides, and they will drive you to the areas where you can easily take pictures of the wildlife. Good guide is really important. Many of them know a lot about the wildlife, animals' behavior, places where you can find them, and they're amazing at spotting wildlife from far away. Ideally, as a photographer, you want to have your vehicles just for you. Of course, it costs more. But I saw many times cars with dozens of people, and that of course makes photography much more difficult and video next to impossible. And of course there is possibility to drive your own car, but majority of people coming to safari won't have this option. Since we lived in Africa, we did both. We arranged trips with a vehicle and a driver, and we also drove our little Honda ourselves. Here's my suggestions for the setup. First, have at least 2 cameras with you. I'm a professional photographer, so I'm used to have backup on all my equipment and then backup on a backup. I don't recommend to anyone to travel anywhere just with 1 camera. In my 40+ years in professional photography, I had situations when equipment, for whatever reason, will stop working. You don't want to travel around half of the world to find out that your camera failed and you don't have a backup. What kind of camera? Well, DSLRs are probably the best cameras for wildlife photography, but at the end of the day, even compact camera with decent zoom will do the trick. I used Canon cameras with cropped sensors. This gave me 1.6 magnification on my telephoto lenses for extra reach, meaning my 70-200 zoom lens turned into 112-320 and my 400mm lens turned into 640. I also sometimes used Canon double extender. These setups were particularly useful for bird photography and close-ups. The main problem with taking pictures and especially filming video at this super telephoto range is how to keep your camera steady. Even slight wind will move the car enough to shake the image. I shot everything with aperture wide open to get faster shutter speeds like 1:250 and up, and continuous shooting mode is very useful for fast moving animals. I also use tripod and monopod. But the thing is, most of my photography on safari I've done with 70-200 lens in the middle of the range around 135-150, and I also used a lot my 24-105 because, like I said, very often animals were so close that big telephoto lenses were not particularly useful. From my experience, 24-105, 70-200 lenses cover 90% of my safari photography, wildlife and landscape. A few more things. Have a good sun protection. This is Africa. Sun is very strong. It will barbecue you alive. Huge problem with equipment is dust. It's very fine and it's everywhere. In just a few minutes outside, you and all your equipment will be covered in dust. Blowing it off with compressed air is not going to work. It will only make things worse. The best way to clean your equipment is to wipe it off with cloths and to use soft brush. One of the problems I had doing wildlife photography in national parks in Tanzania was that you have access only in certain hours. For example, Ngorongoro Crater is only open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I couldn't get early morning light or sunset pictures, but this is a small price to pay for this incredible opportunity. Let's roll the video and talk about individual photographs. This picture was taken in Ngorongoro Crater. I used Canon 400mm lens with double extender. On crop sensor, it's created huge 1280mm lens. I love taking pictures of zebras. Their stripes create amazing patterns, and when there are many of them, sometimes it's difficult to watch. They were standing very close to the car, so I can get the shot with 35mm lens. Here, zebra was laughing out loud at all of us photographers. A huge lion was laying in the grass not far from the road. I was able to get good close-up portrait shot with my 70-200 zoom lens, and late afternoon golden light made this picture so special. Animal babies are great for pictures. This baby lion is so cute. Tarangire National Park has large population of elephants. These beautiful gentle giants roaming across the land and really easy to photograph. It is amazing how females communicate with their babies. This kid had a lot of fun. I saw this composition of mother going up the hill and the baby following her. I like the diagonal movement on two levels. Black and white helped me to concentrate the attention on the animals. During afternoon safari, tropical rain started. I saw this huge elephant standing alone. It was just simple silhouette with glowing drops of rain. I used fast shutter speed to freeze the rain in the air. Our guide brought us to this wonderful outdoor spa full of hippos, a lot of them having the greatest time. And then I saw this guy. I called this picture Happy Hippo on the Beach. Arusha National Park has an amazing lake with tens of thousands of pink flamingos. One late afternoon I saw this serene scene, what I call Flamingos ballet. Giraffes are my favorite creatures. They're so elegant and gracious. They also are very curious and will stand and stare at me every time I stop my car to take a picture.